going to hit the record button. I want to make sure that you're aware of what's out there because I've been pitching a lot about virtual seminars. And the cool thing about what Casey did for us is she actually gave us 2 pieces that you can literally just steal and brand to yourself and have an entire seminar ready to go in seconds. So let's just have me share my screen and we'll just kind of jump into it. Casey, do you want to say anything before we go?
No, there you go.
Okay.
You said it all.
I said a lot. Okay, let me jump into, I'll jump into the just single pieces first.
You know what I can actually do with those pieces too, the ones that you're going to show right now, is I can also add them into the Canva presentations themselves, just so they're all housed in one space and it's easier for everyone to just have them all there.
Well, that would be cool. Yeah, that could work.
Those ones, the little charts and stuff. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, that could work totally. Let me put you guys at the top here. That'll work better. So again, there's pieces here that have been branded to our company. And again, it goes over things like showing homes safely, right? And as I show you guys these pieces, I know one of the biggest things that you're probably going to ask me is, well, hey, how can I plug these into my CBX or my CBX listing experience, or how can I do all of that stuff? You can easily convert these PDFs. You also, first off, you can print them if you print your presentations out, but you can convert them into a JPEG or an image-based file, and you can then upload them to your CBX listing presentation. I already did an example for you, which I'll show you shortly. But basically, this goes over how we show homes safely, right? All visitors are required to follow the below guidelines when visiting your property. And again, it talks about, it really talks about what a buyer is supposed to do when they're visiting a property, but it also puts sellers at ease. And I think that this is something that, again, Casey, correct me if I'm wrong, but, we should be sharing this kind of content on our social media. We should be putting this in our presentations right now. And even just, a lot of these together, guys, make like the perfect like pre-listing package, in my opinion, because they really just give awareness to what we should be talking about before we even talk about the value of their home. Because really right now, a big concern is the process. So this is one, it goes over all the safety guidelines down here under the all visitors part here. Then we get into how do we actually market a property, right? Because we're not necessarily door knocking right now. So we have to really go heavily into our technology. So it goes into the entire aspects of what CBX Buyer Locator tool is, and it dumbs it down, which I like, because sometimes we talk about CBX and we get a little too high level. And again, you have to remember the consumer, when we say reverse analytics, they're like, okay, that might as well be a different language. Like they don't know what that means. So it basically says big data and predictive analytics help me create efficient and effective marketing plans targeting areas where buyers will likely live. I will tell you this, guys, I literally talked to 5 different agents at 5 different companies just yesterday, okay, who are not happy where they are at. And every single time I show them CBX Buyer Locator, they literally drop their jaw like, how do you guys have this tool? Like, this is super, super cool. And again, I've even presented it to sellers every time, the same reaction. How do you know this? This is so cool. It's always that reaction. So I really want you guys to get comfortable with that. But I like this piece because it really goes over what our digital marketing should really look like. So Buyer Locator tool. And then it talks about increased digital reach and social media ads. That's really going to rely on how you do your marketing. This talks about 3D imaging software. So again, I hope you guys are doing virtual tours. I hope you're taking advantage of, property websites. Again, there is a free one that's offered by Zillow. And Casey, I was going to ask you this on the call today. Do you have somebody that's really great at like 3D home tours? Because I feel like I keep directing people to the same like 2 resources, and maybe we have more.
You're meaning like 3D, like
kinda
360,
like
Matterport?
Yeah.
So the thing is, a lot of photographers now, ones that our agents have actually been using all along, now have those 3D cameras, and they're doing them on their own. So
cool.
One like Angus Chang, he does a ton for our agents in-house. Katie Campanelli does a ton for agents in-house too. And I have like a few others that run their own business but still do the 3D tours. And I'm not sure of pricing. I'm not sure turnaround if that's compared to Matterport or not, but it ideally is. It is the same thing, and it's kind of like more of a one-stop shop versus having to have your regular photographer come in, do photos, and then have somebody else come to do the 3D tour.
No, that's super cool. And you know what? You said a really big name that I never talk about, and Katie is the one that I would love to give props to, because I've seen her work and it's really great work. So
yeah, Paul just put it in the chat. He just used her last week and was very happy. So I can pop their information in the chat if you guys are interested. Otherwise, I know I've noted it numerous times in the Inside Scoop, so you guys can always just search for that in there too. But I'll pop both their contact information in the chat.
So then the last thing here, guys, too, it talks about your social media ads. Now, here's the deal. I know a lot of you are tech savvy, so if you know how to do your own social media ads, go for it. But the one thing Social Ad Engine is going to have an up on what you're doing is it really does make it efficient to do split testing, which is A, B, and C testing, meaning you have either 3 different images, 3 different videos, or carousel images out there operating against each other, really, to create the most efficient, cost-effective marketing. I blasted out a testimonial from Greg Yonser just a month ago or whatever, and he had a cost per lead of $1.80 something on using Social Ad Engine, and I think he only spent he did the cheaper one, like $69 or whatnot to get it out there. So definitely take advantage of that. And if nothing else, guys, just talk to the tool when you're on these presentations and make people feel confident that you can handle social media. I have an agent who will remain nameless in our company who just lost out on $3 million worth of business, 2 different high-end listings, because he did not know how to talk about social media. Kid you not. So I want you to get very fluent with this piece. Casey made it for a reason. So just get very comfortable and confident with how this works. And remember that we tie our social media advertising to our CBX buyer locator tool. They are tied together. So we use CBX to find out where the buyers are coming from, and then we use our Social Ad Engine tool to target those areas. That's how they talk to each other, and you can use them as one element.
Hey, Nick.
Go ahead.
Where are these again? Where are these docs again, these forms?
We're going to be sending them out to you. You guys don't have them yet, right, Casey?
Oh,
Right.
great.
How do you want to share these with them? Maybe that's a good question.
So I will, I would say we can do numerous things, because these pieces are also good, like you said, to use in CBX and to even just save it as a JPEG and post it on social. There's so many things that you can do with these, even texting them out to your clients, inserting them in e-blast and things like that. So I said, after this, what we can do is kind of just curate one email, pop them in as individual PDFs, pop them in as individual JPEGs, and then when you go through the seminar slides in a little bit, Nick, what I can do is I can also pop them in there at the end, and so everyone who uses it can just kind of put them in between as they see fit.
No, I love that. I think that totally works. I'll leave that in your hands, and if you want me to assist in communication on that, I can help. So what I did here, basically, guys, I just jumped over to CBX to just show you what we're talking about real quick. If you love using CBX and you want to insert some custom slides, up here under Insert Custom Slide, I just picked the single pane image here. It's called video marketing, but that's incorrect because I changed it to, how we show homes, right? We can title it whatever we want. And I dropped basically an image in here. You can select image, text, or video URL. I selected image, and I just dropped in that slide that Casey gave us. I just dropped in this guy here. That's all I did. So super, super easy to do. If you need help with that, I can definitely walk you guys through that in a little bit. If you want to stay on the call afterward, we can do that together. But very easy to do, and it comes out really nice. It looks a little cut off right here, but when you go to the present mode, it looks really nice, just so you know. I tested it out both ways because I thought somebody's gonna hit me up for that. So long story short, let's continue. We also, again, have the way that we market online. You've got all these different options. Now, Casey, one thing on here before I get going any further, I was going to ask you about this home magazine. Do we do this one here, or do we have something similar to this that we do?
No, so we don't have the home magazine. What can we put in place of that? I mean, maybe I just switch that out for our newsletter.
That'd be good. Yeah, that was the only piece that I was kind of like thinking that maybe we don't necessarily work with that. But everything else we do, guys, single property websites, a lot of times these come from your photographer or whoever's doing photos for you, right? I know if you use larger companies like Planomatic, they do a property website for you. I think Katie does property websites too, right? I think.
I'm not sure if she does property websites.
No? Okay.
No, but I mean, every listing has a property website really anyways through Zap.
That's true.
So if you wanted to buy, 123mainstreet.com, you could always just point it right there.
That's true. You could
your
do
landing page. So.
But again, your virtual 3D tours, your professional video, basically we talked about social ad engine a moment ago, syndication to all the top real estate sites, coldwellbanker.com. And just so you guys know, coldwellbanker.com just got an entire upgrade. So all of your virtual tours now are being highlighted as of yesterday. So before they were kind of hidden and hard to find. Now when clients search either on the map view on coldwellbanker.com or even the list view, you're going to be highlighted as a virtual tour property. So that's a huge bonus. So even more so, you guys should be taking advantage of making sure you're doing the virtual tours, the 3D home tours. All right, and then these are two of my favorite. We've got one for the selling process. Look how nice this is, guys. Like clean, efficient, lays out step by step of everything that happens. Everything from the virtual consult with the client to how you're gonna go over your digital marketing plan, which was basically what we just looked at a moment ago on the other slide. So it's already done for you. The virtual home tour experience, how we electronically sign documents, goes over a little bit how inspections works, and then again, closing and conveyance. So it takes the complicated process of real estate, breaks it down into what the virtual world offers. And again, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps, basically. And again, we know we do more than what this slide is showing us, right? That's not the point. The point is to make it look seamless and simple to the client to make them feel confident in listing their home right now. Any questions on this one here? No? And then we've got another one for the home buying process as well. Everything from getting to know you, home favorites, virtual tours, electronically signed, so on and so forth. So again, this is one of those pieces I feel that we really should be posting on our social media. This should definitely be part of your, buyer's presentation. If you guys are doing buyer's presentations, it just really breaks everything down. I think this would even be like a pre-buyer consultation. Like if you wanted to draft a really nice email saying, hey, looking forward to talking with you virtually tomorrow about your home buying needs. Here's an overlook at what the process looks like from my standpoint and how I handle things. We'll talk more tomorrow. But just to send them this ahead of time would be such a nice touch, I think, and show how professional you are. Now, this is my favorite. Out of all the pieces I'm going to show you today, this is my favorite because I think this is going to relieve the headache of virtual open house. It's a checklist, you guys. What? Aren't you so excited? There's a checklist finally for you guys. I get questions on this like on a daily.
Yeah, exciting, yes.
Is this exciting, right? I know, because you guys hear me ramble and you're like, okay, Nick, stop talking. I want to write that down. Well, now you don't have to listen to me talk at all. It's fantastic. It's all right here for you.
You're not going to live up to that statement.
No, but seriously, look at this. You've got a prepare phase, you've got an advertisement phase, a prospecting showtime, and then follow up, right? That's really all the aspects of an open house anyways, but it's broken down into the virtual steps. And what I love even more is that there's a schedule, right? Because a lot of times you guys ask me, you're like, hey, what should I do when? Like, I know I'm doing it on Saturday at 1 to 1:30 for virtual, right? But I don't know what to do when. Well, this is so great because it really outlines what you should be doing and when. Now, again, look at this on Monday, like it says launch social media ad. If you guys don't want, it says SAE, which stands for social ad engine. If you don't want to use social ad engine for your social media, that's okay, right? You don't have to spend the money on social ad engine. I know sometimes it's cheaper to go and build your own ad yourself if you're tech savvy that way. So just replace this or in your head, make a mental note that you're going to be creating your own social media ad, right? On Tuesday, it talks about emailing invitation to database, make social media posts on your business and personal profiles, so on and so forth. A lot of this is very self-explanatory. There was one part I wanted to digest a little bit more. Let's see if I can find it. There was one part of this I was reading before and I was like, okay, we need to talk about that. Okay, up here where it says prepare. And see how it says create a landing page custom domain for your event? I don't know if it's necessarily needed to create like a 123 Main Street openhouse.com. Like, I don't think you don't need to buy that. I don't think you need to have your own landing page for your open house. What I would suggest is having an event page on your business page for your open house. I think that would be very cost effective, very smart. I just don't want you guys getting hung up on like having to go and research what a landing page is and creating your own custom domain. I just don't think you're going to get a big bang for your buck doing all of that. So don't stress too much on that front. Do it off your business page. Do an event page. You'll save money there and you'll save time. That would be my only 2 cents. Casey, do you have anything that you want to talk about on?
The only thing I was going to say is that there are some things on here that necessarily cannot happen.
Right.
And we know that, but I just wanted to disclose that flyers in the flyer
Right.
box are advertised. This was obviously created before those rules came into place. So when we send you this, we're not telling you to put flyers in a flyer box. And maybe I will edit this before we actually disperse it, so we're not held accountable for anything along those lines.
I know.
Great idea, Casey, because sellers may say, oh, you're going to put a flyer box out with flyers. So we just remove that expectation.
No flyers in the flyer boxes. And I'm actually really happy about that. Saving paper, save the trees.
Save the trees. The other one too that kind of goes hand in hand with that too is notify the neighborhood, which is much more challenging. If you guys look under prospect, notify the neighborhood is actually a little challenging to do right now. Again, you can code an area social media wise and do all of that jazz. You know, what's funny is I just heard a girl on our training yesterday talking that she still does pop buys even though we're in COVID. So she still drops and puts stuff on people's front doors like little gifts, which I was kind of confused about because I thought, aren't we not supposed to do that? So again, you know, I would say maybe we take that out as well, because I could see people coming back and saying, well, Nick and Casey said it was okay. I don't want to be responsible.
And I wouldn't follow through with too many things that we say is okay anyway.
But there are some genius things on here that I think we forget, like SignWriter with landing page or custom domain. How about SignWriter just with like a QR code that goes to like a virtual showing page? Or how about a SignWriter with like a Calendly? You know, I've talked to you guys about the strategy where you can have a free Calendly account and have it naturally book appointments for you with a link to your Calendly page, which connects to your Google, it'll connect to your actual calendar. So whether you use Outlook calendar or the Gmail calendar, what have you, that's a really cool thing. You could also put on a SignWriter to have people book virtual appointments like on demand. You know, that would be kind of cool. So there are some genius ideas on this sheet. So at least you guys have this virtual open house checklist. It goes into a bit more detail, obviously, of what the plan is. So this is really cool. Kind of helps walk you through it. Again, this is also something that you could share with your client too, to educate them on what this process is like. But this is more built for you to keep yourself on track realistically. So on and so forth. Again, some of you are going to feel comfortable sharing this with the client. Some of you are going to say, okay, this is more for me to walk me through from start to finish of what this is. But we'll be sending this out as well. Any questions on the virtual open house checklist and plan? That was a quick overview. I'm really happy that this exists, but any tactical specific questions you guys have?
The idea of the QR code, which is something that I have never used, and I wouldn't know where to start.
So Christine, there's actually a ton of free resources online. If you just literally Google free QR code generator, I think one of the first ones that comes up is one of the ones that I've actually used. And all it asks you to do is you upload a file, and it can be, yep, I've used that one right there. QR code generator, create your free the one above that. You upload a file, any kind of a PDF, like a virtual flyer, and it turns it into a QR code. So that's one way you can do it. And then it sends you that image. You can even print it out on a basic sheet of paper at home and laminate it and stick it to your sign. It also does the URL. So let's say you did get a 3D tour created, and you wanted to advertise that, you would just upload that URL into that generator and it creates that QR code for you right then and there, and you print it out and stick it to your sign. I like these. I don't think everyone feels very comfortable with them all the time, or like sometimes it's just an unnecessary step, because if you're advertising properly and somebody types in your property address, they're gonna not only see the Matterport tour, but they're gonna see all your photos. They're gonna see all your, your full MLS description and so forth. So the QR code may limit them to only seeing whatever you link that to. It definitely is. I think people are actually coming back around with the QR codes. I know they were kind of dead for a little bit, but now with the virtual queues and things like that, people are like, ooh, QR codes, I forgot about these. So it doesn't hurt to take that extra step.
Sure.
It is so easy. But this one is the one that you've been directing other agents to. It's just this QR-code-generator.com, the one that Nick's on right now.
How easy is it though? I just took the Canva URL at the top. I just plugged it in and boom, I've got a QR code.
Yeah.
Like 2 seconds, and you can just print this out or do whatever you want with the little code that's off to the side here. Yeah, just a side note. Again, not saying that everybody should do a QR code, but it's nice to have. So, what do you call it? Home selling seminar. So there's an entire home selling seminar slideshow here. We also have an entire home buyer seminar slideshow here. I'm not going to spend too much time on every single slide, but I at least want to show it to you guys. And if you have questions along the way, we can do that. I know Casey's working on ways to customize this for you and make this easier to get. I don't know if you want to speak to that, Casey.
I mean, as you can see here, this like just very generic, and this is the one that we will probably send you, and you guys can customize on your own. Otherwise, if you don't feel comfortable using Canva or don't know or don't really want to even try, we are more than happy to customize the front page and the back or anything else in the presentation for you. And depending on the extent of the customization and stuff like that, there may be a nominal fee that's charged through the marketing department, but it'll kind of just be after we discuss what changes you want made, then we can take it from there. Otherwise, you guys will be able to have this in a PDF form and you'll be able to edit it as you please for free.
So this is super cool because I know for a fact when I tell you guys, hey, go and host a seminar, like instead of hosting virtual open house, I've noticed more agents are actually getting better leads on seminars online, webinars online than they are getting with virtual open house. So the problem is I tell you guys, hey, go out there and do this. And then you're like, well, what do I do? Like, what do I say? What do I go over? This answers all of that. So this is a home selling seminar example. Now, remember, you can tweak any of this that you want. You may not want to cover certain topics or do whatever, but it's all here today. It's all here built in for you in case you like all of it. But what's nice is, again, cover sheet, it goes over an agenda, how to time the sale of your home and stay after the stay-at-home order is lifted, how do you sell and what does the data say about selling in this unique market? So again, it goes over some topics and then it talks about the market as well. It's got some really beautiful graphics of, how home prices changed during the last 5 recessions. And you guys have seen graphics like this before through other webinars. So it shouldn't come as too much of a surprise or new to some of you who have been with us through COVID. But it goes over basically how, this is not like necessarily 2008, and here's the data to back that up. Talks about interest rates, obviously being at a historic low and how that affects home values. How much equity is in people's homes right now, which is why this is not like 2008. There's a big concern about unemployment numbers, and it shows how that's actually declining at the moment with people collecting unemployment, so on and so forth. So you would need to get familiar with these, get comfortable talking about them. And again, if you don't feel comfortable talking about something, you literally can click on the slide and just delete it. You could do that per se. Talks about the stay-at-home order surge, again, how we're showing property right now. Talks talks about increased digital reach. This again touches, this is for sellers, remember, so this touches on our CBX, this touches on social ad engine as well. So some light marketing talk as well for people who come to this. Single property websites, again, stuff we've covered just a moment ago. How we handle inspections. Prep, these are the ones actually I really like, Casey, these ones, the prepping your home. Like I haven't seen this before, which is really cool. So it gives like a quick overview of what a seller can do to really get their home optimized for sale. So I think that's nice. Sometimes it's better coming from a graphic than coming from you.
Yeah.
So that's
And
nice.
all of those graphics are taken off of Keeping Current Matters. And if you guys go on there and just flip through all of the resources on that site, you'll get a lot of good talking points for each of these slides. So if you don't feel comfortable really talking about the stats behind some of these graphics, there are a ton of easy consumer friendly articles out there on this information. And I will include as many of those links as possible in that email that we send you guys, just so you don't have to do the searching.
Casey too, we actually uploaded the video when we had the Keeping Current Matters CEO and president speak to us. So maybe they could
Fabulous.
just
Okay,
watch
great.
that, because if you watch the first 20 minutes of that video, you'll cover all of this actually.
Awesome.
So maybe that would be good too.
Guys, I'm sorry. This is all on CBX, right? This presentation? I know not the
No.
camp part, but where did you find this presentation? I had to get a phone call. I'm sorry.
This,
So it's in Canva. It's something that we have in our Canva account.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna share with you guys that we curated. So it's not in CBX, but any of this you can export from here and then import into your CBX presentation if you wish to do so.
Thank you.
Welcome.
so home enhancement checklists, which are pretty cool, vetting potential buyers. And this is something that I really think a lot of us, I don't know if we're taking the time to talk about this, but I like the way this was laid out. It talks about like the steps in which buyer view property right now, so that we're not traipsing tons of people through homes unnecessarily. You know, the fact that buyers have to view all photos online, buyers drive by the home and investigate the neighborhood, buyers virtually tour the home through Zoom or FaceTime showing, and then finally, if the home is still in contention, an in-person tour can be arranged. So that's really a great slide for those sellers, especially who are very stressed out about COVID and really need to sell, but they're scared about doing so. This kind of helps weed out their concerns with the fact that only people that will be walking through your property are people who are very serious.
Casey?
Yes.
Can you edit this?
Can you edit
No,
it?
can you edit this?
Can I edit it?
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Okay, suggestion is to take the shoe covering off, because they're saying they're discouraging us from having people wear booties because there's litigation around it right now.
What shoe covering? I don't see anything that says.
So, yeah, I don't know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
I don't
would
see
never
shoe
tell you
covering.
guys to do anything like that.
Do you guys see shoe covering? I don't see shoe covering.
I must have been hallucinating or
You
something.
were.
Mhm.
It's the Mickey Mouse
Thank you.
coffee, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird detour, you know. I don't know. Get some sleep, Tracy, for sure.
I just went into the ditch, so I got to get back.
But that's it for the home sellers presentation. Then you got the home buying one as well. The home buying one, I have to say, I actually like better, just because I think I don't know, I just love the layout of it a lot better. It's just got a little bit more of the actual concerns that you'd likely want to address right now, which is a lot of what I get hit with on a daily basis. So I know this is super valid stuff, like, is now a bad time to buy? You know, you must have a perfect FICO. Home prices are higher than ever. You know, should you should purchase a home at the top end of your pre-approval. Don't know if I hear that one as much, but it's still a valid concern. And is it cheaper to buy a fixer-upper? So again, those are some highlights that you might want to go over as topics. Now, again, guys, if you don't feel comfortable talking about these points and to why they're misconceptions about today's market, you can clearly delete them. Just make sure, obviously, if it says top 5 and you've only got 4, to make sure you change this to 4 on every slide, right? Just make sure it's thoroughly edited. First things first, talks about basically how to handle having a formal buyer's consultation, talks about the pre-approval process. And again, this is probably a webinar or virtual seminar you'd want to host with somebody. I always think when you guys are on a virtual webinar or seminar, it's fun to break it up. You know, if it's just you talking, you know, for 20, 30 minutes, sometimes, you know, you lose people's attention. I know that that happens in trainings that I do and they're an hour long. It's just like, you know, more and more information after information. So break it up, have a lender do it with you. You know, it says ways to finance. Do you really feel confident talking about all of these different programs and what's out there right now? It might be kind of fun to have a lender do it with you and, you know, dive into what their specialty really is and also help promote them in their business. Representations and why agency is important. Some of you may love talking about this slide. Some of you may not want to talk about this slide, you know, and you can delete that if you feel comfortable talking about pros and cons of dual agency and why it's important to have your own agent, and how the process of being their fiduciary really benefits them. You know, how we're showing homes again, similar to what we've seen before today, but again, you want to address it obviously if you're talking to a buyer or a seller in different ways. Property types, you know, some of you again may love this slide to talk about, you know, the benefits of condos versus single families versus townhome versus multifamilies. Some of you may not. How to craft an offer, right? Inspections and how inspections are handled. The big contingencies in a transaction. Request for repairs, which is always a huge topic of concern for most buyers, especially first-time home buyers. And then how the closing works and what needs to be handled by the time we get to closing. So again, pretty efficient, right? I mean, I really think this one does a lot for you in it's only what, maybe 15 slides. It's not too crazy. And definitely something you could do with somebody and knock it out in about 20, 30 minutes. And I think people would leave your presentation feeling super excited and feel it was very beneficial. Anything you want to add, Casey?
No, that was it.
So that's basically what we wanted to show you guys today. I didn't think we would go the full hour, but do you guys have any questions on, like, you know, anything you want me to cover? Or
Nick, you just kind of answered it, but you think these are good, keeping it under 20, 30 minutes, like lengthwise? I was just going to ask you that. So no more than 30, maybe 20 is better?
How I always feel about any presentation is that if it's vibing and things are going well and there's so much energy on the talk, it doesn't matter how long it goes a lot of times. But if you feel like, you know, you're the one that's just talking and your lender's just talking, I think keeping it 20, 30 minutes is always a good idea. You know, default to that. Don't go the full hour if you don't really have a full hour of stuff to talk about. But I've noticed in my experience, when you talk for longer than 20, 30 minutes, it tends to get stale regardless,
Okay.
you know, and that's why I'm also suggesting to have a speaker with you. You know, it was nice to have Casey with me today to talk about, first off, Casey did this, so she should be on this call anyways, but it's nice to have her here with us today because, you know, she talks, I talk, and it breaks it up. You guys notice how you know, we went, what, 35 minutes just now, and you guys stayed engaged. So that's kind of the chemistry that you'd want with your lender if you guys were doing a presentation, you know, out there in the real world.
Thank you.
Excellent. I have two questions. Casey, you said it before, but forgive me. So these are not available at this moment, but these seminars are going to be downloaded into Canva?
So they already are. So they're hosted in Canva right now.
They are. Okay.
And I have a paid account, and what that allows me to do is then send it to you guys, and you can edit it on your own.
Okay.
I'm still trying to kind of figure out the best way to ensure that you guys are not going to go over the master presentation that I'm showing you right now. So I think I'm gonna have to tell each person that actually wants the ability to edit it in Canva, I think I'm gonna have to copy that, make you your own version and so forth. It's possible. I know it is. So if you want something more custom than just the front page and the back page, we're gonna have to figure that out together.
Well, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. So if we just want the front and the back page, you'll be posting that on Canva and we can go in and change it, or is it there now that way?
So yes.
Wait,
Yep.
I asked two questions. It's
Yes,
now.
yes, it's hosted in Canva right now. And I just
Okay.
have to share that link out to you guys.
Okay, great. And the other question, and this would be to both of you, what are your options and ideas for promoting, say, a home buyer's tour? What would you suggest as a checklist and a promotion schedule to get people to sign up and attend?
Is Peggy on this call?
I can talk to that.
Go for it.
I can talk to that. Is Peggy on the call? But I can talk to that too. So what I would honestly do is basically follow the entire guidelines that were stated on the email that I was on earlier with Casey's virtual open house plan. I don't think you would really default too much from what this really is. It really comes down to, I mean, I will tell you this, I did a beta test one just for fun. I recorded an entire 45-minute buyer's consultation, start to finish, put it out there on a Zoom link on Facebook and Instagram, and I got 7 leads in 4 days. And I only spent $5 a day, and I advertised it. All I did was advertise it on Facebook and Instagram. That's all I did. So it's super, again, super easy to do. You could take it to that level of, again, creating an event page just like you would for a virtual open house, promoting that event page, filling that event page up with pieces just like this. You know, just like if you did a virtual open house, I tell you guys to build out that event page with photos, videos, and different things of that house that you're going to promote. So if you're going to promote a home buying seminar, same thing. I would put things like the virtual home buying process piece on that page. I might record a little video of myself as a promo of what I'm going to be talking about on the call Saturday for whoever's going to be tuning in. I might be putting pieces like this as well on here for showing home safely to show people that, you know, this is part of what I'll be talking about is the COVID environment. But yes, I would build out, just like I would a virtual open house checklist here, I would basically build out a page on my Facebook business page that was built just to promote my event, and then I would advertise it accordingly. And if you guys want me to do another class on that and what that looks like, I have done that before, but I will do it again happily. If you want me to walk you through what that webinar start to finish looks like.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay,
Yeah, and so when you say you got the 5 leads, Nick, were they from your existing Facebook friend group, or was that from just multiple streams and strings of that?
No, they were total strangers. I had never met the people before in my life.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
And I actually got 7 leads. It's just 2 are bogus. So I tell people 5 because it was actually 5 legit leads. So yeah, my point is that this stuff really works. It's just getting comfortable with it. But if you guys want me to do a class on it, I'm more than happy to do that.
I'd love to.
Again, keep in mind when you guys do a webinar like this, you can advertise it on your personal page too, but just don't bank on your friends and family attending necessarily. You know, this is something that you want to basically target people that are looking to actually buy a home. And sometimes you won't have anybody in your sphere at the moment looking to buy who will benefit from a class like this. So you really do want to get it out in front of, again, people through advertising. Facebook and Instagram ads seem to work the best. If I find a different way, I will tell you, but that seems to be the best way to go about it.
Okay, and my question to you then, when you said you can promote it on your personal page, is there a way that you can do it that you don't get in trouble? Or conversely, is there a way that we should not do it so we don't get in trouble?
If you do it just once or twice, you're not going to get in trouble. The only way people get in trouble on their personal page is when it's repeated business talk, like over and over and over again. Facebook's okay with you kind of spreading, you know, blurring the lines a little bit, you know, like kind of, I always tell people the 80-20 rule, like only post 20% business on your personal page, you know, but so that people at least know you're in business, but you're not, it's not where you're promoting yourself 100% of the time. So it's okay to say, hey, friends and family, I'm going to be hosting a virtual buyer seminar on how to buy a house during COVID. If whether you're interested in buying a house today or 5 years from now, this talk will be amazing for you and preparing you for the future, you know, just something like that. And then boom, put a graphic or a promo video, or, you know, Casey's probably got ideas on that, and go from there.
Thank you.
Any other questions, guys?
All right, I have one more question. So when you're doing the seminar, are you doing split screen so that you have the entire slideshow on one screen and then you on the other, or are you voiceover?
No, I think it would be you in like a little box in the corner talking basically while oh, you mean like whether you upgrade to the webinar version where it's like split down the middle and you've got the slide over here and you talking?
Yeah.
So I'm telling people not to pay for the webinar version just because that is an extra $40-50 a month that I just don't think needs to be spent on Zoom.
Okay,
I think
good.
you can easily just get the pro account, which is $15 a month, and then
Gotcha.
share it to your Facebook when you go live. I think that's totally fine and efficient. And again, yes, that would mean that you're just going to show up on the screen as a little box in the corner when you're talking, and then it will be mostly the shared screen. And depending on how the viewer wants to see it, like right now, I see you guys in gallery mode, so I see all of you, right?
Right.
And then, but the viewer is going to have the choice to see just me talking as a big screen, or, you know, in Casey talks, it'll be the speaker view, or they can do gallery, or they can minimize, you know, when a viewer tunes in, they have so many options. So it won't have that webinar look to where it is, you know, you on one side and the slide on the other. It won't have that feature, but you're still going to be present. So I think you can get away with that.
Perfect. That's perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions, guys? Good questions, though. I love it.
Version, Nick, does the free version still allow you to share your screen?
You can't share it. You can share your screen, but you can't go Facebook Live and stuff.
Oh, you can't go. Okay.
Yeah. The free one also only gives you 40 minutes, which is fine because that would work for what we're talking about. But you can't get it onto other platforms. So that's the issue.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is $15 a month. So again, if we have to like go over costs, what I'm talking about as a strategy would be the $15 a month Zoom cost plus, you know, a little bit of advertising money on Facebook and Instagram. And again, remember guys, I'm talking like $5 a day for 4 or 5 days. It doesn't have to be, or it can be ongoing. If that seems small to you, you could do $5 a day on a promotion of a home buying seminar for 2 weeks, you know, and have it go for a while. All right. Well, I'm good. Casey, are you good?
You guys are awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Yes. This is great.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, can I share something that's not about virtual, but I just heard from Gov, and I don't know if you guys heard this. He's discouraging personal letters from buyers to sellers.
Why?
Because,
I heard that.
yeah, because it could influence the seller to purchase to select a buyer, which could then show discrimination to the other buyers. For example, if you say we have 2 little girls, we're going to be going to school in the area, we can't wait to blah, blah, blah. No. So the buyer letter needs to become subjective information about the fact that they like this home and they've seen 12 other homes, they're fully pre-approved, you know, they've got 30% down and they're willing to lighten the contingency period. We're not supposed to write those personal get to know us letters from the buyer.
That worries too much.
Just know, I mean, just learned that today, and I've been doing it for 20 years, these personal letters with pictures.
Yeah.
We got
I'll
a lot
say-
more
I'll
to
say-
worry about than that.
I would
Just
tell you
tell ya.
this, just keep doing your letters. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't back Gov on that. I get where he's going because it's the same issue that we're having with the landlord tenant crisis with
Fair
landlords
housing.
picking tenants based on other information when they shouldn't. So
Right.
I get where he's going. I just feel like, you know, when you're sitting down with a seller and they see a really amazing letter and they're able to bond with that buyer and really have an emotional connection, as much as that buyer fell in love with that house, that seller has the right to me to fall in love with that buyer. And if that buyer puts extra energy into writing an amazing letter about who they are and what they're trying to accomplish, and that seller feels compassionate enough to go with that buyer, why does it matter what they're doing with their personal asset? It just drives me bonkers.
I know. Just telling you what I heard this morning.
No, you're right because Tracy, you're right because I'm on a broker call every Friday at 11 and he just talked about this last Friday. So I know you're right. It just drives me nuts because I'm like, why is this a thing? You know, like, come on.
I heard
It's your generation. Your generation is full of people that want to change everything. In the world.
Okay, Boomer.
Wow.
Okay, Boomer. All right.
I heard him say the same thing, and I think it was like a lot with because Tracy, I think I heard the same thing you did, like religion and, you know, race and all that. So it's like, maybe if we just keep that stuff out and keep it generic, do you think we'd still get in trouble?
I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know how the other buyers could